There's a particular type of loneliness that people don't always talk about. The loneliness of being touched, but not emotionally felt. The loneliness of laying next to someone, having sex with them, talking about bills, kids, schedules, and responsibilities, and still feeling emotionally alone. And honestly, that kind of loneliness can feel even more lonely. And that kind of loneliness can feel even more confusing than being single. Because technically, you're not alone, but emotionally, something still feels like it's missing. And I think a lot of people struggle with this because they assume, well, if we're still having sex, then things can't be that bad. But sex and emotional intimacy are not the same thing. You can absolutely have consistent sex in a relationship and still feel emotionally disconnected. You can feel desired without feeling deeply known. You can feel physically wanted without feeling emotionally safe. And over time, that starts to create this quiet ache in relationships. Because what many people are actually craving is emotional presence, not just physical access. They want to feel seen, considered, understood, chosen emotionally. They want to feel like their inner world matters to the person that they're sharing a life with. And when that's missing, people often start blaming themselves. They may think, maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I'm too emotional. Maybe this is just what long-term relationships feel like. But emotional disconnection doesn't just happen all at once. It happens slowly, in small moments. Conversations become more functional than intimate. One partner feels unheard repeatedly, conflict getting avoided instead of repaired. People become roommates, co-parents, task managers, instead of emotionally connected partners. And eventually, sex can start becoming one of the only remaining forms of connection in the relationship. But see, here's the problem. Sex cannot carry the full emotional weight of a relationship by itself. It's too much pressure, because if there's no emotional closeness outside the bedroom often starts trying to compensate for what's emotionally missing. And eventually people start saying things like, I don't know why, but something just feels off. Or, I love them, but I still feel alone. Or even, our sex life is fine, so why do I feel emotionally disconnected? And sometimes the issue isn't absence of love. Sometimes it's the absence of emotional attunement, the absence of curiosity, the absence of feeling emotionally prioritized. A lot of times, people don't really even need grand gestures. They need emotional responsiveness. They need to feel like when something happens inside of me, my partner notices. My partner cares. My partner leans in emotionally instead of emotionally checking out. Because emotional intimacy is built in smaller moments. It's built in the how is your day? Tell me more. You seem off today. I understand why that hurt you. I'm here. And when those moments disappear consistently, people can start feeling emotionally abandoned while still being physically partnered. See, that's the kind of loneliness nobody prepares people for. And if this is you, I also want to just say this gently. Feeling lonely in your relationship does not automatically mean your relationship is doomed. Now, but it does mean something emotionally important needs attention. Because relationships don't usually break first at the level of sex. They often break emotionally first. The emotional distance just becomes easier to ignore when routines, responsibilities, or physical intimacy are still happening. But eventually, the loneliness catches up. And the goal isn't, how do we have more sex? The deeper question is often, how do we reconnect emotionally again? How do we become emotionally safe for each other again? How do we stop functioning like teammates only and start feeling emotionally close again? Because people don't just want relationships that look functional from the outside. They want relationships where they actually feel emotionally connected inside of them. And honestly, that desire is valid. Now, seriously, if this is resonating with you, let me know in the comments. Have you ever felt emotionally lonely in a relationship, even when the relationship looked fine on the outside? And if you're trying to rebuild emotional intimacy in your relationship, follow along, because we're going to talk about this a lot more deeply on this channel.